What's going on, guys? So today's video I'm going to do, we're getting the Fender Eliminator kit. I got it by, here's a box right here, made by Yoshi. It was probably a little under $100 or $110 from my dealership. So today I'm going to show you how to actually remove it from the bike, install it, and kind of what it looks like before. Here's a picture of the bike when it was washed up with the Fender on it. And we'll compare that to whatever it looks like whenever we're all done. First thing, real quick, a couple things I think you'll need for this install. You could probably have a little bit more, a little bit less. But I'll just go through everything real quick. You're going to need some Allen keys or some adapters to go into a ratchet set. Some type of ratchet set. You definitely need a 10 mil ratchet. If you have a kit, I mean, it's ideal just to have all that stuff for taking things off the bike. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, maybe some electrical tape, maybe measuring tape if you want to measure the distance of the wire. That's a little overkill. A lighter, some wire strippers. You can pull back the wiring. Some cutters. I have both different things for Allen keys where you can put it into a ratchet or like a screwdriver. I think it's both those I used. A zip tie, and then I also used an extension arm for one of the ratchets wherever it was kind of a tighter squeeze. So kind of just everything I think you'll need to not have to run to the store and grab anything a second time. I have some painter's tape just because I put it over my license plate just because that's what people do, I guess. What you gotta do is you gotta remove your seat here and then your back seat. So this back seat is pretty simple. You can just go ahead with your key right there. Turn it, obviously pops up. The front opens up and it pulls back. That'll remove this seat here. And then to remove your main seat, what you have to do, there are two. I already removed this one, just to show what it looks like when it's off. There's two pieces of side carbon. So what it does, it sits right here. All the connections you want to work from the right to left. So there's a little part in the top right that actually sticks underneath and snaps in there. There's two Velcros and there's a push pin right there. So what you have to do, you kind of have to pull this back and then push down and get it out, and then you just gotta work your way back, pop it off, and pull it out of that hole. I'll try to get a camera stand and show you how I did the other side. That's not too hard, but if you go just looking at it from nothing, you've never removed the seat before, that's something you want to know how to do to get to your battery, get to all your wires. So go ahead, remove that on both sides, and then there's an Allen key right here on both sides. You'll loosen that up and get your main seat off. So once you've got everything off your seats, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver to take this screw off here. And then there are two push pins here. Use a Phillips head to push them in to pop them out. Then use a flathead screwdriver to push them out. So you'll push down, pop it, then you'll lift it with a flathead screwdriver. So there's two there. And then underneath, we're working on the right side of the bike, there is one here and one over here as well. Be careful on this side, especially not to scratch your fairings. Be it 4 push pins, and then you have that one screw. So we'll go ahead and remove all those. Little side note for these outside ones, try to get your fingernail or something around it first, then put the flathead screwdriver to pop it out. If you go straight with the screwdriver or the flathead, it's not really going to come out right away, and you're probably going to scratch your fairing. So I kind of just worked my finger around it, got a little gap so I could push the flathead in there, then get it out. For these outside ones, I would use your fingernail or something small like that. That's not going to scratch before you actually just push the screwdriver in there. Once you have all those screws removed, all you're really going to do is just pull it straight off. There's one connection point right here where there's like a push pin from the Fender. That'll be, you can see it right there. That pushes in. All you're going to do is pull that out, and everything else here is just kind of sitting there. And then this black wire is just a connection for the turn signal. You can go ahead and just dislocate that, push it in, and pull it out. Pretty simple there. But the one connection part would be right here. You have to actually physically pull that off. Next thing you want to do is go underneath the actual Fender here. There's 4 bolts, so if we can see them, 2 there, then 2 closer, and you actually can see, sorry about the camera, this wire here, you want to cut it about 6 inches from the bike, so about right here. We're going to take the bolts out, cut this wire about right there. Now we have everything removed, we cut our wire here. You can just go ahead and snip that, don't worry about anything being live. You can just use a pair of pliers right here, just cut your wire about 6 inches back. Me personally, I like to keep everything that I take off my bike that's stock. I'll actually go ahead and tape these with a plumber's tape these 2 extra screws we're not going to be reusing, so we can keep this if we ever want to put it back on or sell the bike, have all your parts and have all the bolts together. Then you're obviously just going to remove your old license plate from the Fender Eliminator. It's only going to be connected to this by the top 2 bolts, but these are pretty easy. It's just all hand tightened. You can do it at any point in time, but figured I'd show that while we're doing everything. Next thing you want to do is you actually get your mount here. You're going to reuse 2 of your bolts that were already originally there, and then you're going to add these 2 screws that go to the back. So we added 2 screws back here, just kind of fill those holes, and we have our 2 original bolts. I am going to take this off because it comes with these 2 rings, kind of like a nut you can put between there. I'll take these back off, put those little spaces in there to help it stay tight. There you can see it when we went back and added those. Just another thing, I will put a link in the description below for a video I'm basing this off of. It was definitely a helpful guide. I thought they went a little bit fast through it. I figured it'd just be a cool video for me to show for someone who's not super good at doing certain things on your cars or bikes. This is simple enough so far. Good video for it. And their video was for a GSXR 750 year 2017. This bike here is a 2019, so a little bit newer model. So far everything's pretty much the same, and this is a 600 instead of a 750. So 2019 GSXR 600 right here, and we'll keep putting this on and we'll finish it up. When tightening these last 2 bolts up right here, I did find it helpful to have an extension. So this right here, this wrench with the extended arm, I found a lot easier than using something like this where it gets fat at the end, because it gets a little bit too tight there with the angle of the license plate to really get that tightened up. So you might have to use just a hand wrench, or if you have some more tools laying around and you have that extension. It was helpful for me. After that, we're just going to feed this light through for the license plate, and there's going to be 2 screws for the back. One thing I like about on the GSXRs, the GSXRs, is that the turn signals are up here in the side panels and they're not on the sides here. So one less thing you have to actually rewire, and I think it's going to look a lot better. You guys know what I mean. If you have a bike where you have your license plate here, then you have your 2 turn signals, I don't think it looks as clean as these on the GSXRs. I think it's really nice to have your turn signals back here. So don't worry about that. You're not losing your turn signals. Are already on the bike. But you don't usually think about it because you're usually sitting on the bike. You don't even see them. So a little side note, something kind of silly that I thought about. There's just going to be the light right here, and obviously make sure it's facing down. And when you mount this on from the back, it is going to take a 2.5 milliliter Allen key. So whenever you go behind there, if you can see it, it's not like a standard Phillips head screw. It's going to be an Allen key, so just make sure you have one of those if you have like a kit of them. So this is a 10 mil, that is a 2.5 mil, and then for this one is something in between. It's the same size you take off your side fairings, and then it's a slightly larger one to take off your seat. But if you have like a set of Allen keys, you'll be good. If you only have 1 or 2, that back one it's a 2.5 mil. That's something I probably wouldn't have originally had, but I've been slowly buying more and more things for the bike. All right, next thing you want to do is you need to cut just back some of this tubing here that's going to cover up these wires inside. You won't see these wires, so you cut back the outside, which is real simple. Just kind of cut up about 2 inches and then peel it off. But from here, we're going to go red to like the green or the gray, and then we're going to black to black here. Sorry, I'll go up. But I'm actually going to go ahead and grab my camera mount so we can watch this, because the next part is going to be different from the videos that I've watched, which I highly recommend watching those. They're going to be very thorough, but they're kind of quick. And just how to actually attach these. But we go black to black, and then it's like gray to red. You want to kind of go off, so say this connects up higher, we're going to want to make our cuts for this down here, so they're both going to attach about 2 inches apart, and they're not going to be just side by side. But the biggest thing with this model that I have is, I'm going to put a video for this below as well. It's a heat shrink connector. So basically what it sounds like is you just need it. I'm going to show you how this works, and then actually get a camera mount so we can look at it with I'm going to use a lighter. Most people aren't going to have a heat gun. I think that's going to be the biggest thing with anyone installing this, is what they're going to be curious about. But get the wires to connect in the middle, and then we're actually going to heat the middle, and this metal is going to melt down around everything, and then you go back and forth, and I will show you how we're going to do that, and I'll show you how it works. Alright, so we have the black wires prepped here. I haven't cut the gray and red yet, but basically you see these are going to attach here, and now we're going to cut the red wire back. So we're going to strip this back using our wire tool right here. For the bike side, I used, when you look close, I believe it was 20, it was the 20 side, and then for the LED light, it was 22 when you look close on this. You can mess around with it, always have yourself a little bit extra slack, and then kind of go back from there. If you do pull off any of these wires whenever you're pulling back the outside of the plastic, make a new cut. Give yourself plenty of extra space. You can go back and do that. But now there is a video I'll put right here that comes in the manual. I also put a picture at some point in time. That's going to actually come with your product. But what this is, you have the wires meet in the middle, and then we're going to heat the ends first, then the center, and this metal is actually going to totally melt, and it's going to combine those two wires. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on camera, and then we're going to get it all hooked up, actually show you that it turns on, it works. This is the first time for me doing this, but you guys can kind of see how you do this here. All the videos I found helpful are going to be down in the description below, but hopefully you can watch this whole video and get a good idea, and save yourself some time with whenever you read that manual for the first time. It's a little bit foreign, at least it was for me. Then after I kind of watched all these videos and went back and read it, it made a lot more sense. Alright, so I'm going to do just that one side to get it to stay still, and I'm going to push the other end, let them meet in the middle. Don't want to get too close on the lighter. It's not supposed to touch it. They kind of touch it there for a second, but I feel like it got a little bit there. You should be able to pull. Okay, so it says you can pull slightly on that, and they're not going to pull out, which you are so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and melt the middle of it. Wish me luck. It is like a second or two delayed whenever you light it, so give it a second and back off and come back at it. Alright, so we got that first one done, I hope so. It's a little funny, not funny, it's a little hard to do because you can't like rotate it like they show you in the video. It's kind of hard to work with it from this angle. I guess I can technically pull it over the side and try to hit it again. I'm going to let this cool down for a minute. I'll go ahead and do the other one. I'll do a video of that too. I'll get that all on film so you guys can kind of see firsthand what it might look like, and then show you that it actually works hopefully, and we'll go back and make adjustments if we need to. Yeah, definitely help hit it from the other angle. Let give it a second to cool. I'm blowing on it. I don't know why if I need to, but just take a little bit off for a fresh start right there. This one was 22 or 20. You guys can go smaller. I do like the look of getting a fresh cut on this. This one is 22, slightly smaller. Get that out of the way a little bit. Get that to the center. You gotta do the ends first. And they melt real quick, and it's kind of a second delayed, so give it time to cool. Now it's not moving around, it's easier to work with. Get this to meet up in the center. Like so. Needs a little bit more on this side. If you keep that moving, it's going to give you more time for error, I guess. Let that cool for a little bit, then I'll turn it to its other side. That might be done right there. I actually probably did that more than this one. That one might need a little bit more. I'm gonna turn the bike on, make sure everything works before we go ahead and pull everything back. Still a little tacky to touch. Alright, so I'm pretty confident these are tight enough because I can pull on them pretty good now that they're cold, but over here it's a little bit still like the factory metal. So I'm gonna try to hit a little bit more from this side. And then I'll hit these ends because it kind of gets a little bit more clear versus this one looks like it needs a little bit more. It gets kind of clear and actually melts down onto it. So I'll just go over a little bit more. Hopefully you can see it. But I think this is kind of good because I'm a little bit unsure doing it. But after you do it once, I feel like I could do this a second time a lot faster. So I think this would be kind of helpful to see. Don't get too close. You can almost see it burning. And don't hit this wire, only hit this one. Give that a second. I'm trying not to move these till they're not tacky. It's not like I'm gonna burn my hand because they are initially hot, but make sure they cool off so the plastic, I think, kind of holds together. All right, so that's not tacky anymore. It takes like 10 seconds or so. I'm gonna try to hit this one more time. So that may have been a tad bit too much. It looks a little bit burnt, but the metal still doesn't look as melted as the other one. I think that's pretty good right there. We're gonna get the bike started up, make sure everything's working, make sure this light turns on for us. I'll let everything fully cool first, and then we'll start her up. All right, moment of truth. this is all done, you're gonna want to push the wire through and look in through the top where like your toll box is. You'll see the hole right there where it all comes through. Slide it all up there. Then you'll pull it through the side here. I might snip this old zip tie so I can get a cleaner fit. So we have it into the back. Now we'll pull it to the side. Might try to find some electrical tape to make this look a little bit cleaner, but basically just gonna fold this up here and then zip tie it, and then we'll reattach our turn signal, push this back on, screw it in. I'll show you that, but let's get this all put together here first. I will tape this together, just more so for visual and make sure I have everything tight at the ends, but I just kind of want it all to look clean. Get yourself a zip tie. It's a little bit of an indent here where it came from. We'll push it back in there. Not too shabby. All right, putting this stuff back with pretty much smooth sailing. I do need to attach the license plate, and I think I'm going to use their screws. We'll go back and I'll show you that too, but while I'm here, I'm going to put everything together. So these screws will go on the license plate. I'm using theirs instead of the one the dealership came with, just because it's metal. The other one's plastic. It looks a little bit nicer, and I think those look nicer than the little plastic screw-ons. So we'll just go ahead, plug in the turn signal. Tuck those wires in. Make sure everything lines up. Push in your pop pin. So for these, you actually need to reset them. So you'll push them the opposite way if they're pulled out. So whenever they're pulled out, you push the middle and it comes out. Let me get this out of here. So they look like this whenever they're removed. You want to push them all the way through so they're reset like that. Get it in the hole and then pop it in just like that. Those are a little bit confusing. I've had a couple of those when I take my fairings off. I don't know if I ever got them back in again. There we go. Shake it around, make sure that stays. Nice. I had to pull in this fairing a little bit to get these to line up. Then we'll screw in this last screw here. That really didn't want to line up. I had to kind of go in and out once or twice. And then this one, you can see on that was a more of an angle. I was coming straight down on it, but make sure those all line up right and don't crack anything. And we're just gonna put the license plate back on. I could use my old one. Right here would work just fine. It is kind of like plastic though, so I'm gonna get rid of this, even though I do like Barnes Bros. And then we do have these little plastic screws. I guess if you went to the track a lot, which I mean, I guess it'd be nice to take your license plate off real easy, but just put tape over or whatever. I'm gonna replace that and go ahead and use, you get a washer, nut, and a screw. I think it looks a little bit cleaner. I'm gonna go ahead and attach the bottom to, then we'll go ahead and mount it to the license plate. Just to show how little I know, you do want to put the washer on the back side. I had to double check that. And there's a little bit of thread lock on this nut. So it's going to be a 10 milliliter wrench, and then it's the same size Allen key as we use for the bolts behind where we took the old Fender kit off. So that Allen key there to keep it in place, or you can screw it from the top down, but basically just going to use two different sizes. You're going to need a 10 mil and that Allen key. And this is kind of overkill stuff, but you're going to go back to tighten this in. You're not going to have the right stuff. So get those relatively tight, get on the bike, then we can kind of do our last little touches. But there's thread lock on that, so you're not going to be able to do that by hand tightening. And you're going to need two tools, something to hold the back end and something to actually tighten it up with. Once you got the bottom two on there, not all the way tight, so you do want to have a little bit of play to get those holes lined up. Get your screw through. Now on the back, you can start by hand, just so you're not dropping everything. It'll go a little bit and catch thread, and then it'll stop you at the thread lock. So go ahead and get that started. And I know some of this stuff's really basic, but I swear I've done it myself twice, so for you guys watching, if I can save you some time, may as well. Try sliding the license plate down and this frame up as much as you can, because you will see a little bit of the white, which is going to bother me. So push that up as high as you can so you're not seeing as much of the license plate. You're never going to notice it once it's on there, but right now I'm looking at it, it's kind of bothering me. So slide it up as high as you can before you tighten these. Awesome, we're pretty much smooth sailing from here. Put your rear seat back on, pushing from front back, then just down. Make sure that's down there. Same thing with our main seat. Push it from front to back. Make sure that lines up with these holes down here. And just because I know it was a terrible view the first time, the push pins right here are 2 Velcros, and whenever you're pulling this out, you actually want to get your finger under here and pull it forward. See that comes forward a little bit? Then you push it down and out. So reapply that. This will go underneath the seat. Just like that, do that on both sides. Alright guys, here you have it. Super happy the way this came out. Got the light on there. Definitely a nicer look. I'll put a couple pictures if I haven't already of kind of a before and after. I'm going to go turn the engine off so we can take a look at the bike. I'll do a little walk around, but I'll show you the lights on it as well. So you can see it doesn't affect the turn signal, everything that's already been on there. That's not engaged on this bike. Obviously this is your bike, you already know that. Do your blinkers, I guess we'll show us both. But yeah, overall I think it looks super good. There's definitely a bunch of little things I ran into. I mentioned along the way, even if I had to put down the caption below. But yeah, super happy with this. I still think it's street legal and everything. So I know it says on certain things that you have to check with your state, but something like this, I didn't get rid of the turn signals. It's still plenty visible. I know people tuck them way down there. I think that's definitely just kind of asking for trouble. But super happy with the way it's looked. Hope this video is helpful for you guys. I'm gonna wrap it up because it's been taking me a while, a little bit longer than I'd like because I had to run to the store. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out some of the older videos I'm gonna put down on the screen right here. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful, like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.